Okay, so today I'm going to try something different. I've been recording a ton of AI tutorials, and people are probably like, what is all of this about? And I want to talk about it. All of this, all that I've been creating, all that I've been thinking about, it really relates to the title of this video, which is I truly believe that AI is going to take my job, and I have fully accepted it. Let's talk about it. So, I'm going to talk about all that's going on with AI, how it's going to, I think it's going to replace my job and what my job was. And I'm going to talk about the framework that I've come around to using to accept it. And if you think this is at all applicable to you, I'd love to see what you think about the framework and also just hear about how you've come to accept AI being a part of your working world and add that to the comments. So let's get into it. The latest news, I'm sure you all have been following, is about all the new AI models that can do human-like activities. You've got things like OpenAI, ChatGPT, which a lot of people are familiar with. There's also Claude. Microsoft has their version, Facebook has their version, Amazon is going to have their version. And human-like activity, what that really means is knowledge workers. So the work that a lot of people in society used to do that involved computers will be replaced in some parts by artificial intelligence. And that's where I come in. I am a knowledge worker, and I spent a lot of time and a lot of education to get to that point in my career. 4 years undergrad degree from a top business school, 2-year business school grad degree from a top MBA program. So about 6 plus years of education on business. And if you've been following the news, you'll see that a lot of knowledge workers are experiencing almost like a silent recession. So my last role was in tech, and thousands of people have been laid off in tech. I wasn't laid off, but I know dozens of people and classmates that have been. And if you also follow the news, you see that a lot of top MBAs are struggling to find jobs now. I can attest personally and say that, it is difficult right now to find a job if you're a white collar worker. It's not easy. And before, there'd be dozens of jobs and only a few people applying to them. Now the competition is really steep. And the reason for that is AI. A lot of these companies are building the models, and so they understand what these systems are capable of. And so back when you needed to hire a dozen people to do a role, now you can hire one person and they can work with AI to do the same job. So why have I just accepted that eventually, and probably sooner than we all think or know, AI will be able to do my job, which is knowledge work? I think I've accepted it because I have a mental framework that has allowed me to get energized instead of getting depressed. Because it could be very easy to get depressed about it, especially with the amount of work and effort I put into my career. But this 4-step framework or approach is what I'm using, and it's got me really excited about the opportunity of the future with AI, although I am a bit apprehensive. So the very first step of this framework is to just confront the reality head on. So rip the band-aid off. And as opposed to fighting it or saying AI doesn't have these capabilities, really leaning into what AI can do today and how I can learn it and accept that it's going to be part of the future, especially in this environment where we see regulation going down and not up. I don't think there's going to be any government counterpoint to innovation. And so there will be a lot of innovation happening rapidly. And so the way that I think about it is grab on to the saddle and get ready to ride, because it's going to be a crazy next few years. So that's the first step of the framework, is I've really accepted that this is what's going to happen. And once you accept it, then you can make decisions about your future. So the second phase of this mental framework that I've created is to be an early adopter. So I know that AI is coming. I know that it's going to replace my job. What does that mean for how I operate in the world? And so if you're still working a white collar job, I'd say, one, making sure you're using AI to make you much more efficient at your job, because the next person likely will be. And so there's just opportunity to get more efficient, improve your value. In the long term, I am not working right now, and so I'm really focused on two things. One, using AI to optimize my life, and two, using AI to build businesses. And so every day I've committed to using AI to do that, learning the different tools, and I record a lot of that journey here on YouTube as an accountability mechanism. The third part of my mental framework is to shift how I think about making a living. So if you asked me 5 years ago what my career would look like, I might have said, find a company that I really love, work there, work my way up the ladder, become CEO. And that goal has just gone out of the window. And I've embraced something that I really call a portfolio lifestyle, which is this idea that likely my income will not come from one source. I'm sure you've seen a lot of people on YouTube talking about this, all the different hustles they have, so they don't have to have a day job or traditional job. I think this will go from something that was optional or something that was aspirational to something that is a necessity. And so the way that I thought about it is, how does real estate fit into my portfolio? In real estate investments, how does buying a business potentially fit in my portfolio? And then how does building a business fit in my portfolio? But I think that skill of knowing how to make money in this new digital landscape is going to be critical. And so that's the third part of this framework, is to really shift the way that you think about earning a living. And you can think about new ways to earn money, or you can think about ways to cut your expenses. Maybe it's move to a lower cost of living city, or live your life in a different way, whether that be roommates or some type of co-living situation, so you aren't as worried about getting laid off from your day job or getting replaced by AI. And the fourth and very final aspect of my mental framework is to it's almost like a plus. It's to really lean into your hobbies and passions. And to me, that's the bright spot about AI and the bright spot of all of this. I remember a few years ago, I was reading a lot of Silicon Valley CEOs, particularly Elon Musk, were pushing this concept of a universal basic income, which was this idea that everyone in the United States should get paid a base level salary, maybe $30,000 or $40,000 a year, even if they don't work a job, because the state of tech innovation and things like AI would make it such that a lot of people would be innovated by technology out of their job, because technology would be able to do their job. And so to ensure that people could live and survive, universal basic income is one way to do that, so people could have their necessities like housing and food, even if an AI system is doing their job. And I don't know about universal basic income. It still seems very futuristic in my head, but I know that there's an opportunity as we're spending less time working on a computer, because AI is doing our computer work. There's much more time to lean into your hobbies, lean into your passions, things that are digital, but also things that are physical. Something that I'm really excited about is learning carpentry. And, I recently bought a place, and so working on renovations for the place that I purchased. And so I think there's an opportunity there to really experience the world physically and not be so caught up in I've got to work this day job and be tied to my laptop. There's a real opportunity there. I think the second thing is, as you lean into your passions, you really discover what gives you joy. And I think it's easier to make money around that and start a business around that. So if you start doing Pilates and you love Pilates, maybe you decide to open a Pilates studio. Or if you like building, maybe you get into construction. I think some of those jobs AI will be slower to replace, although I've heard a lot of companies are working on robots now, but I think we're still a ways off. So that's my mental framework. That's helped me stay encouraged, excited. I'll be recording my journey of learning AI as the new tools come out and really using AI to optimize my personal life, but also build businesses and figure out ways to make money that aren't a typical 9 to 5 job. I'd love to hear about what you all think about this in the comments. Please comment below if you think AI is going to replace your job or how you're managing through it all. I'd love to hear what you're thinking. And until next time, thanks for hanging with me.